Good morning. I just wanted to get together with you via the internet to explain what we're going to be doing as we move into phase two. As many of you know, we are moving into phase two, and the bishop has sent some more directives to us about how we are to gather and the things that we need to do to keep everybody safe, but also at the same time to be able to worship in a way that is proper to the times, so to speak. And so this weekend, as I said, we will move into phase two, and there will be a few minor changes in how we gather. Initially, we are going to stagger the pews so that you are able to sit every other pew, and in the nave, which is the area in front of the altar, it'll be every other pew on a side, and then on the transepts, which are to the side of the altar, it will be every other pew, a full pew. Now, that is a little bit different because we want to create more capacity because we're moving from 25% to 50% capacity. However, we do not intend to have our crowd managers to seat you. In other words, come in and please be seated. And in order to maximize the number of people who are able to be in the church safely, we would ask that, once again, families continue to come together. Families have done a great job so far in doing that, and we would hope that we can continue to do that. But when you come in, there will be crowd managers, so to speak. That's what the fire code calls them, ushers maybe. But they will direct you to places that have not yet been filled, have not yet had the social distance filled up, so to speak. And so we look forward to seeing you this weekend. We will have the distribution of Holy Communion just as we have been doing. There have been some concerns about receiving on the hand and receiving on the tongue and the next person. Just so you know, all of our ministers will continue to be ordinary ministers, our priests and deacons. We've been working together through this pandemic and are comfortable within our group, so to speak. And we will continue to minister to you. But we will have with us hand sanitizer as we move. So if we believe that maybe we touch someone's tongue, we will sanitize our fingers before communicating the next person. I don't want people to come and to be afraid. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more next weekend on Corpus Christi, because I do believe that in many ways the discouragement to Holy Communion is something that is an unfounded fear, and we'll talk about that a little bit, like I said, at Corpus Christi next weekend. For those of you who are vulnerable, those of you who are risk-averse, the bishop has continued to give his dispensation. Remember, though, that the dispensation also requires that we properly sanctify Sunday. And so you should participate via live stream or some other form of prayer on Sunday in order to keep holy the Sabbath day. But if you are vulnerable or risk-averse, please know that certainly the decision to not come may be a good decision, and it's not something that will lessen your faith. It will only increase your prudence. For those of you who are risk-averse and want to come, in other words, you fear that there may be too many people in the church that you can handle, know that we're going to leave the single chairs out, and we will also have the gathering area open to people who want to sit a little further from the pews. And certainly that is something that you can do. And if you come, you can just simply come in, and there'll be chairs set in the gathering area. And as you know, those of you who have been, we have single chairs around the church that are separated from the pew areas. And so this weekend, I hope we are able to use common sense, as we would say, when we come into the church. We should not sit on top of somebody, so to speak. See how the church is divided. In the pews on the half that we're not supposed to sit in, or the pews that we're not supposed to sit in, we'll have little markers down that says, please do not sit there, so please do not sit there. And if you don't see that one half of a pew is pretty full, or you're not able to keep a reasonable distance from the next person, please make sure that you don't sit there. And we may have to make some adjustments in seating as the crowds come in. The other thing is, this weekend is a special weekend for us here at St. Pius. Another one of our members is going to be ordained a priest Saturday morning. And what a wonderful thing it is for our parish. As John Paul the Great said, a sign of a healthy church community is the production of vocations. And so certainly soon to be Father Andrew Colleen is one of those signs. He will have 2 first masses at the 8 a.m. Sunday and at the 10:30 a.m. Sunday. We suspect that those masses will be a little bit more crowded than the other masses. So if you don't intend to go to those masses for the first mass, feel free to look at the other 2 mass times, 5 p.m. Saturday and 5 p.m. Sunday. Also, when we have his first mass, we may have to use the overflow. Again, if the church gets too full, plus the gathering area, we may have to move back into the Parish Life Center, and there will be video set up there, as well as a deacon to distribute communion at the proper time. We need to make sure that as we come forward for Mass, as I said, to use common sense and also have common courtesy. We look forward to getting back to normal when we don't have to worry about these things. And I know that our bishop feels very much the same way. We hope we'll move to phase 3 in just a few short weeks, and then we'll be able to pretty much be back to a normal operation and a normal rhythm of life, a normal rhythm of worship. And we all certainly very much look forward to it. And so, forgot to mention something. After Mass, we will not have a reception for Father Colleen. We're not able to do that at this point. However, he will be in the gathering area, and he will be giving first blessings. And for those of you who would like to stay, we'll have the kneeler set up, and you will be able to obtain your first blessing for him after both the 8 a.m. and the 10:30 a.m. Mass. So I look forward to seeing you all this weekend. I look forward to us continuing to live under the restrictions that we have so far. Really, things could not have gone any better. And considering the circumstances, you all have been wonderful in listening to the instructions, doing what we need to do to make everybody else comfortable as well as ourselves. And I look forward to us kind of pushing through to the goal line of the end of the pandemic, as well as the ability to worship as we had become accustomed before the pandemic. God bless. Have a great weekend. Be sure to keep Father Colleen and his family in your prayers, and we look forward to this wonderful celebration of God's gift of grace to him.